August 12th, 2021, virtual meeting of the Burlington Conservation Commission. First, I'll read the notice of the meeting. Pursuant to Governor Baker's June 15th, 2021, lifting of the state of emergency and following the passing of Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, these acts allow for remote meetings of public bodies until April 1st, 2022. This meeting of the Town of Burlington Conservation Commission is being conducted through remote participation. No in-person attendance or members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to or view this meeting while in progress may do so by turning into the BCAT Government Cable Access Channel or the BCAT Government Meetings Facebook Live feed, or you can actually join the meeting over the phone at 408-418-9388. The meeting number, which is on the screen now, is 179-747-7321. To join the Webex live video conference, you also can click on the link of the Conservation Commission's meeting page or on the Town of Burlington's town calendar. You then go to webex.com, you select join a meeting. There's a meeting number, and the meeting number is shown on the screen right now. And if you need a password, there's a password also shown on the screen. New public hearings open tonight are not closed, so as to allow for comments from those who are unable to access or are uncomfortable with this technology. Comments and concerns regarding public hearings should be emailed to conservation@burlington.org before our next meeting, which will take place on September 9th, 2021. The first item of business is to call the roll call. So for members of the commission who are here, signify by saying present or aye, or here, or something like that. So first of all, call Don Bernstein.
Aye.
Gail Lima.
Here.
Indra Deb.
Here.
Bill Boyven.
Here.
Jennifer O'Riordan. She's absent. Ed Turco.
Here, audio.
Okay. Kent Moffett, he's our associate commissioner, and he is absent tonight. Administrator John Keeley.
Here.
Assistant Administrator Eileen Coleman.
Here.
Okay, and myself, the chair, Larry Cohen, is present for the record. All right. As regarding the agenda, tonight we have a few things that are not going to be heard. We will go to item 4, which was a request for a certificate of compliance for 10 Great Meadow Road, the town of Burlington, which is the new DPW facility. And that request for a certificate of compliance will not be heard and is continued until September 9th, 2021. Items 9, 10, and 11, which are continued public hearings for Redmond Street roadway, number 4 Redmond Street, and number 5 Redmond Street, have been continued at the applicant's request to the meeting of September 9th, 2021. Okay, so all votes will be by roll call. I'll have to call on each individual person for any votes. You should note for the record, this meeting is being recorded. When I call on anybody, please feel free to introduce yourselves, where you live, and then you're welcome to start speaking. All right, so the first item on the agenda.
Larry, we need to vote to continue those items.
Oh, you are correct. Okay, so let's do that. Well, not the request. I don't think the request has to be continued. I think, but the hearings for Redmond Street roadway. So let's do them all at once. Could I have a motion to continue the Redmond Street roadway, item number 9, number 4 Redmond Street, and number 5 Redmond Street, to be continued at the applicant's request until September 9th, 2021. Is there such a motion?
So moved, Gail.
Second.
Second, Bill.
All right. Don, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Indra,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Ed. All right, the chair votes yes, so by a vote of 6-0-0, the Redmond Street roadway, number 4 Redmond Street, number 5 Redmond Street are continued to September 9, 2021. Okay, Bill, thank you for the reminder. Citizens' time. Is there anyone present, either on the phone or on the screen in front of me, that would like to approach a subject not on the agenda? You're welcome to do that for citizens' time. Okay, the record should show that there is no one here for citizens' time. Next is item 3, approval of minutes of July 8, 2021. If we're in a position to approve, could I have a motion to approve?
So moved, Gail.
Second?
Second, Don.
All right. For approval of minutes, Dawn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Indra,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
The chair votes yes by a vote of 6-0-0. The minutes of July 8th, 2021 are approved. We'll skip down to item 5A. All right, so 5A, notice is given that the Town of Burlington Conservation Commission will hold a Webex virtual public meeting, during which time will act upon a request for determination of applicability filed by Nancy Rigonini. The commission will take all information related to the proposed grading and landscaping activity within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetative wetlands. It's located at 60 Beaver Brook Road, and we will thereafter issue a determination of applicability. The application is being heard pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, which is the Wetlands Protection Act, and Burlington's bylaw, Article 14. A copy of the application is available by emailing conservation@burlington.org. Okay, so I think there are some folks here tonight for this one? 60
Yes.
Beaver? All right.
Yes, Nancy
so-
Reagan,
Okay, and you live at 60 Beaver Brook, right?
yes.
All right, would you like to say anything before we get going? Usually that's our protocol.
Well, the reason why what we want to do is just grade the dirt out back and put a fresh lawn in.
Sure. Okay. That's fine, that was brief. Okay, all right, so John, you want to give us a rundown on this one for 60 Beaver Brook, or Eileen?
Sure, I'll do this. So the commission noticed filling activity on the site when they were doing a filing, an application for an adjacent parcel on the street behind this property. And they could see the piles of fill, and at the time, it looked like the fill was going into the wetlands, and it looked like a fairly serious wetland violation. So I did write the owner a letter and arranged for a site visit. And as it turns out, it wasn't really as bad as it looked from a distance. There was certainly fill close to wetlands, but there wasn't any fill in the wetlands. And they were basically doing some landscaping activity. It was a little close to the wetlands, so I'm recommending that you condition that it be no closer than 20 feet to the wetlands, which I can help the applicant in the field determine that distance.
Okay, all right, and
Yep.
let's go to the commission and see if they have anything further on this one. I'll call each person in turn. Don, do you have anything on this one?
Nothing further.
All right, Gail?
Okay, so I know we visited this a little while back, and I don't quite remember, I remember the property, but for the 20 feet or less, John, was that area disturbed with the new fill?
I'm not really sure. It was probably around 20 feet, but I didn't really check out the edge of the wetland that closely, as I will later on.
Okay, so I guess just, that area that we want to leave undisturbed, if it has been disturbed, then there just should be, I'm sure in the conditions to let that area just naturalize and not plant grass there.
Okay.
Yes,
All right,
there won't be grass there.
Okay.
all right. Indra,
Just
anything
native
more on this?
plants.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
No, nothing. I think you'll save that.
All right, Bill,
I have nothing further.
Ed.
Nothing to add.
Yeah, I'll just comment for the applicant's benefit that we have a regulation called a 20-foot no disturb zone adjacent to wetlands to enhance the protection for wetlands, and it's 20 feet of naturalized undisturbed. So that's the basis for the 20 feet where it came from. It's sort of in our regulations and so forth.
Okay.
So Nancy, do you have any comments or questions? I mean, it sounded kind of straightforward what John was saying.
Yes, I don't have any more questions, no.
Okay, well, you can always call the office if you do have questions, of course. Okay, so do we have a draft? Yeah. Do we have a draft negative conditional determination to just review, vote on, and then we'll get these folks on their way?
Okay, so the findings, the project description is grading and landscaping the lot. The work is within the 100-foot buffer zone with the closest work approximately 20 feet, which we'll actually determine exactly in the field to make sure it is 20 feet. So the recommended decision is a negative determination with the following conditions. No other work than what's described in the project description. Condition 2 is requiring erosion controls at the 20-foot line to be inspected by conservation staff. Condition 4 is no tracking into the roadways. Condition 5 is a prohibition on additional filling and grading beyond what's required for the landscaping. Then conditions, fairly standard conditions about dumping debris or landscape material in the wetlands. Prohibition on chemicals within 100 feet of wetlands. Condition 8 is the standard condition about the commission's right to access and do inspections, and 9 is a standard condition about non-compliance.
Okay, so John, you have a clarifying for the applicant's benefit, landscaping and putting down couple of inches of loom is not considered changing grades, right?
Correct.
Okay, so someone planting grass, you bring in loom, it's not an issue.
Right. They're not actually planting grass. I mean, if you recall, she's definitely got a lot of nice plants out there. She's more into plants and gardening than lawn.
Sure. Okay, so there's a negative conditional determination that's been presented. Does anyone in the commission have any further changes? Hearing none, could I have a motion to issue a negative conditional determination for the project at 60 Beaver Brook Road? Is there such a motion?
So moved, Bill.
Second,
I
Don.
neglected to say that. All right, so let's go through. Don, how do you vote? Gail,
Yes.
Indra,
Yes,
Bill,
Yes.
Yes.
Ed? Ed, you still with us?
Give it, yes.
All right, and the chair votes yes, so by a vote of 6-0-0, the negative conditional determination for 60 Beaver Brook Road is approved. You're all set.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. Okay, next, we'll go to the next one now, which is item 5B. Notice is given, the Town of Burlington Conservation Commission will hold a Webex virtual public meeting, during which time we have a request for determination of applicability filed by Jennifer and Jillian Butler. The commission will be taking information related to the proposed construction of a farmer's porch within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetative wetlands at 13 Fowler Terrace. The application's being heard under the State Wetlands Protection Act and Burlington Bylaw Article 14, and a copy of this application is available, like the last one, from conservation@burlington.org. Okay, so someone here for 13 Fowler Terrace.
I'm here for 13 Fowler.
For you tonight.
Hi, how are
Okay,
you?
so please introduce yourself and, state where you live for the record, and then the floor is yours. You can say as much as you'd like.
Okay, my name is Susan Cadillac. I'm with the builders and the homeowners also here on the call. And we are looking to replace the existing front stairs with a covered front porch about 8 by 18 at the front right corner of the home.
Okay, thank you. You have more to say? That's okay. I mean,
I don't think so. I think it's pretty, try to make it as,
okay, that's fine. I just don't want to, I don't want to cut someone off inadvertently, so that's why I asked.
no, it will be on footings as well. I think that was a question. So it won't be a full foundation. It will be built on footings.
Okay, all right. All right, so John or Eileen, could you give us a rundown for the property, the project proposed at 13 Fowler Terrace?
Okay, I'll take this one. So as Susan explained, actually, they're doing quite a bit of work to the interior of the house, is what I understand. But the only work that they're proposing to the exterior is, I don't know if you can see my cursor because I forgot to make a big one tonight. They're proposing the farmer's porch be on the front, the front right if you're facing from the street. It looks from the FEMA floodplain, as you can see the blue line, that the whole property is within the floodplain. However, they have provided elevations that show that this portion here is actually above the floodplain. This is part of the reason why it became an RDA. There's also wetland along here, maybe 40 to 50 feet from the corner of the house. But I don't really have any concerns about this. It's a very small project. As Susan mentioned, we have conditioned it such that we're at least encouraging them to, to not have an actual foundation. So I have no issues with it.
All right. Okay, that sounded straightforward. How about from the commission? Does anyone on the commission have a comment?
This is Bill. I would only say that it's going to be on no foundation. It's going to be on posts. So that's a minimum disturbance. Plus, I think it looks to me like all of the new construction that's outside of the building is going to be further away from the wetlands and the existing construction. So I see no problem with it, as long as there's, care taken not to disturb the wetlands or the 20-foot boundary during the construction.
So I don't think Susan or I mentioned it, but they don't have any plan. As far as I know, they have no plans to take down trees or anything else external to the house. Correct?
Correct.
And there are no plans to change the driveway, make it bigger or anything?
Nope, the driveway will be as it is.
Anyone else in the commission like to speak? All right, hearing none, we have a draft negative conditional determination. We'll review it, vote, and you'll be all set. So Eileen, would you do the review, please?
I am, yep, pulling it up. So the applicant proposed to construct an 8 by 18 enclosed porch on the northwestern corner of the house in buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland and in bordering land subject to flooding. The property was partially within the BLSF based on the FEMA flood insurance maps. The proposed work would be located within special mapped flood hazard area zone AE. The work would also be approximately 40 feet from BVW. The findings are that the applicant has provided plans showing that the elevation at the proposed porch is above the closest base foundation line. So the commission finds that the construction will not be within BLSF. This decision is only for work as described herein, and the conditions include that, that this is a work for only as outlined herein. This one is highlighted because we just wanted to say that it's a strong suggestion. Although the porch will be slightly above the 100-year floodplain elevation, the Commission strongly suggested it be constructed on footings with no foundation, and that the space under the porch should not be enclosed but open with a lattice type enclosure. No removal of trees, shrubs, or alteration of naturally vegetated areas is permitted by this decision, and all demolition materials shall be disposed of off-site in a legal manner. Most of the rest are fairly standard about no dumping of sediment or yard waste into the wetland, and anything that is there should be removed out of the wetland, and no filling or grading of the property under this decision. This is since the parcel lies at least partially within the floodplain BLSF. And then the last few are standard conditions about how the Commission or its representatives may visit the property, and explaining what is required for the occupancy sign-off.
Okay, do you have any questions about what you just heard so far?
No.
Okay, it's fairly routine conditions that get into most of the decisions.
Yep.
As you probably suspect. Okay, all right, so does the Commission have any changes to the draft? Anyone on the Commission?
No.
I haven't heard. No? All right, so could I have a motion to issue a negative conditional determination for the project at 13 Fowler Terrace under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 and the State Wetlands Protection Act?
So moved, Ed.
Second.
Second, Don.
Right, Dawn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail,
Yes,
Indra,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes,
Ed?
Yes.
The chair votes yes by a vote of 6-0-0. The project, a negative conditional determination is approved for the project at 13 Fowler Terrace. That's it. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good
Bye.
night.
You too.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so we're on item 5C now. Notice is hereby given the Town of Burlington Conservation Commission will hold a Webex virtual public meeting, during which time we have an applicant request for determination of applicability filed by David Hodges and MGD Incorporated. The commission will take all information related to the proposed construction of a garage and farmer's porch and clearing and filling and grading activities within the riverfront area in the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetative wetlands. The property is located at 31 Wheatland Street. And after we hear it, we will thereafter may issue a determination of applicability. The application is being heard under the State Wetlands Protection Act, which is Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and Burlington's Bylaw, Article 14. And a copy of this application is available by requesting by email conservation@burlington.org. All right, so is there someone here for this one?
Hi, I'm David Harchis. I'm the builder. And with me is Mark Trosas. He's the owner of the property at 31 Wheaton Street.
All right, nice to see you both tonight. You're welcome to talk about in particular, the clearing, the filling, grading activities that you are planning to do or have been doing in the riverfront area and so forth. And after you speak, then we move on.
Well, there won't be any more clearing. As you guys saw when we were out there yesterday with the straw bales there, we're gonna just would like to loam and seed the backyard and the front once we construct the 2-car garage and the farmer's porch on the existing home. The addition isn't gonna come any further than the addition that was put on the house a few years back. That actual side porch where the proposed garage is gonna go is actually gonna come off the house, but we will still be going out that 13 feet.
Okay, thank you for those comments. Eileen or John, would you like to give us some comments on 31 Wheatland?
Hi there, it'll be Eileen again. So This particular one is another is a retroactive filing because the two developers had actually taken down most of the trees and had already brought in quite a lot of fill when we came upon them. They hadn't yet started their building permit, so I didn't catch it that way. So we allowed them to clear off the last of the downed trees. There was nothing. There was no reason to keep them on site, and Mr. Drossels did file immediately. So I don't have. He provided another plan for me today, and I forgot to put it into the drive. So as they explained, though, this portion. Oh, I think John is. Sorry, John did it for me. John, can you just scroll down because I was just going to show the house. Okay, well, so this is the existing house, and as the two gentlemen just described, they're going to be removing this portion of addition, as far as I understand, building a new garage and a room over it. But the addition will extend back by about the same distance as the existing building, which is something like 180 feet from the stream. So, John, if you just scroll up again. Just because I want to show them the back left corner. In fact, what I'll do is, if it's okay with you, John, can you stop sharing? Because I'm just going to share a different one, please. Thank you. I just wanted to show a picture of an GIS that I took from GIS. John, can you stop sharing? Thank you. So this is just it just gives it's a good visual of how close or how far away the come on, open up the stream is. So the red is I have regulatory streams marked in red on my GIS. The teal outline is his property. So from here to the back of the existing house is about 180 or so feet, and he removed trees here and here. He took down a lot of undergrowth and vines, and it was just apparently a very overgrown site. And he's brought in quite a lot of fill. So quite a bit of the disturbance is going to be in the outer 100 foot, but the portion at the back of the lot is definitely within the 100 foot to bordering to the Ipswich River. That's really all I have to say.
Okay. All right. John and Eileen, we're dealing with, I just have a question to put out to the commission. We're dealing with two resource areas, riverfront and bordering vegetative wetlands. Is that correct?
Well, the wetlands are off the property. So if I go back again, if I share that same again, the BVW is probably also sorry, the 100 feet to BVW probably goes as far as maybe the rock line that we saw earlier today, I would suggest, or yesterday.
Well, here's where my question was going. For disturbance in riverfront area, is there a requirement for improvement to the riverfront based on having a project like this? John or Eileen,
The commission usually does look for an improvement, especially with an NOI. So I'm not sure what you would, if in the draft we have proposed that he replace some of the trees. So if you have other suggestions, we can take that into account.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there for the commission before they said anything, just so that's in the back of their mind with any questions they have. All right, so
Okay.
Don, do you have any comments or questions on this one?
The comment I have, I think we need to ask about replacing some of the vegetation, but another comment is we see these cases very often where the respondents claim or state that they were unaware of any wetlands laws or violations. And as a general comment, I would just throw out there that perhaps the commission should more or less put out some public information materials and communications to better inform the community on what is out there and what needs to be paid attention to in cases like this.
Okay. Anybody have a comment to that?
So is Gail. I think there is some information out there, you know, I think there's quite a bit of information actually out there. I think that not everybody does due diligence and you know, looking at what's required when they do work on a property.
Okay,
This is Bill. I've always thought it would be great. I don't know if it's entirely feasible, but I would like to have some kind of a cataloging, maybe with summer interns or whatever, of every property in town that abuts or has wetland, you know, jurisdiction for the commission. And those individual landowners be notified, maybe with their property taxes every year, as some kind of a statement that says, remember, you have wetlands and you need to be aware of it if you're going to do any work. It may be easy to get the first 50% of them off of existing files or whatever, but you know, over time, perhaps we could slowly increase the documentation of exactly what properties in town our rules pertain to and make sure they're notified on an annual basis.
So I agree with you, Bill. I think, you know, I actually used to think that when somebody bought a property that was a new homeowner or property owner, that should come along with, I mean, and actually it often does come along with the deed with, you know, if there's restrictions on it, but if there haven't been a filing before where there's no restrictions, they wouldn't know that. But that when you know, register in the town office to vote and whatnot, and, you know, move in as a new resident, that you should be given that information then. I think it would be great if you could send it to everybody. I think that would be a pretty overwhelming task for our, you know, office of two and the budget that we have right now. But I think that'd be a great thing to do. But I think that would be a pretty large task for our staff.
Well, that's why I was suggesting a summer intern task or something like that.
Might be a few interns.
A few months to just
Yeah.
devote to this or something, you know, if we
All
could
right,
do it.
okay, let's, this sounds like an idea, but probably this particular item on the agenda is not the place to further debate it, I guess. So we'll take that offline perhaps at some other point. We have, Gail, did you have anything further on this?
Yeah, yes, I do. And Larry, I actually was thinking, as you were, about because this is a riverfront, that there would have to be some kind of improvements. And so, you know, just kind of planting a couple of trees when several trees have been taken down. I don't see that. A 1-for-1 is not an improvement when there's been disturbance and when there's work done in the riverfront. So I guess I'd like to get a sense of how many trees and shrubs were in that 100-foot. And so I think there should be at the minimum a 1-for-1 for that plus something, because I mean, their improvement should be improvement from, unless I'm not understanding this correctly, but from what it was before it was disturbed. And the other thing I think we also need to look at is whether, are there any grade changes here with the fill that's been brought in?
There's not gonna be any grade changes, and, ma'am, to be honest with you, behind the house, there was one tree taken down closer to the white fence. The other stumps that were pulled were pine trees that were pulled down years ago, which there's still one on the property when you guys were there. The 7 trees that I took down were all, if you're looking at the house from the street, were on the right side of the property, closer to the existing house, and that's why there was so much moss and overgrowth on that side, and that's why that house, the roof and everything is also rotted. The trees were actually up on that hill area. I'm thinking once the foundation for the garage goes in, there's a possibility we might have to put some type of stone wall on that side. And I do know the regulation, if it's over 4 feet, you do have to go through the building department on that. I'm not sure it'll meet that criteria. And as far as the fill goes, that was just brought in to feather back towards the existing home, not go forward. As you saw the property, we had already stuck that silt sock out there because we knew the water was farther back and we could see the stream over in that left-hand corner. But it did, I know it doesn't disappear, but it does go underground behind the neighbor's home. So, and I know in the draft it said to replace, I think it was 6 trees, which I have no objections on doing
Yeah.
that. Um,
It was actually just 2 trees and 4 shrubs, if I read that right.
I interpreted it as,
2 native trees.
as
6 trees, I think.
4-foot trees is what I
Okay.
anticipated it as. I didn't realize it was shrubs. So
Well,
I
no,
apologize.
trees would be okay. Trees would be okay. So, the other concern related to the trees that, when we come to agreement, that you should consult with the office, because the office will want you to plant native trees back there. And then I guess the other detail there was discussion about a fence, correct?
Yes.
On the property and where that's going to be placed, and I guess
Now, is
what
this
type of
a-
fence.
wasn't sure, is this a permanent fence?
So when we were at the property, your partner discussed putting a fence up. So we just need some detail.
I was the one that was on the property with you, ma'am, and I had
Yes.
no intentions of putting up a fence like the white fence next door.
Okay, I guess I misunderstood.
No, my intentions originally was possibly putting some arborvitae's across the back. And I believe Eileen, when I first had met her out there, she said, why would you want to put arborvitae's? You're gonna ruin the view of all the leaves. So I said, okay, I won't do that. And now if the town would like me to replace some trees, I would do that. Now, I can't speak for whoever purchases this home for me, if they'll want to put some type of fence back there, but I personally had no intentions. I was.
That's fine. I just remembered incorrectly.
And then
That's fine.
That's what I wanted to do.
Yep, that's fine. I must have just remembered incorrectly. Sorry about that.
Okay.
All right, Gail, are you done? I guess yes. Okay, Indra,
No, I don't have anything further.
Bill, anything further on this one?
Not really. I think most of the trees, as the applicant pointed out, were up beside the house and well outside the inner riparian, so they're out in the outer riparian zone, so I'm not so concerned about the 1-for-1 for those. The handful of trees that you're suggesting putting in would be, to me, an improvement, I think, from the number, because there weren't that many trees back in the area that has been cleared or groomed. So I think that would be okay.
All right, Ed, anything further?
No, just that whatever ends up being fully landscaped, the access to that area should obviously be available at all times. No dumpings and things of that sort.
All right, thank you, Ed. All right, I have no further comment. I think restoring a couple of trees and 4 shrubs, if that's what the commission wants, is fine. And I think the details of which plants and which trees and perhaps where they should go should be left for consultation with staff. Okay, any further comment from anyone?
Can I add something before we read out the conditions, the draft conditions, Larry? It's that typically with something with projects in the riverfront, you do require some sort of demarcation, which is where we came up with the fence, and it wouldn't have to be a fence; it could be a line of shrubs or something like that. So when I get to that portion of the conditions, you guys can discuss whether you think that's needed or not.
All right, that's good. Thank you.
Well, this is Bill. Isn't the line of demarcation for the riverfront, property like this would be at the 20-foot no disturb from the riverfront? From the river itself?
You usually ask. Well, I suppose you're right.
And that's not even on the property, the 20-foot no disturb, right?
I think you're right.
No, 20-foot no disturb is the setback from BVW. Riverfront is a resource area. It's a 200-foot. It's a 200-foot riverfront resource area. It's not a buffer zone. It's a resource area. So the 20-foot has nothing to do with riverfront area whatsoever. The inner 100 feet of a riverfront area is supposed to be left undisturbed. So if you had demarcation between those 2 oak trees, you'd still be in the inner 100 feet. It would be like probably 80 feet from the bank of the brook. which is making a concession to these people, because you really should have 100-foot inner riparian undisturbed, not a 20-foot.
Okay, I was thinking from the bank, as the resource area. So you're suggesting that the fence should more properly be at 100-foot line, or in this case, we might compromise at 80, because that would be a logical site for the property.
So
Yeah.
I think that, we should try to get it as close to the 100-foot as possible. We're talking about an important watershed that's behind these properties. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think it would be appropriate to reclaim 100 feet of naturalized, undisturbed area with 4 shrubs and 2 trees sprinkled throughout the area. And the only question remains is, would we like that 100-foot because it takes on a greater significance? Would we like that somehow demarcated in some fashion? So Eileen, would you review the decision, please?
Okay, I will. And thank you, John, for hang on. So I was just going to say for jumping in there, because John was absolutely right about that. Let me just share. Okay. It doesn't want to share. Come on, open. Okay, now we have it. So the applicant proposed to cut at least 7 trees and remove undergrowth and vines, and to grade using 105 yards of fill, all within the riverfront area of the Ipswich River. The applicant also proposed to construct a garage and a farmer's porch. On July 15th, it came to the attention of the conservation staff. Trees had been cut on the property and 105 yards of fill had been delivered. The work was halted and an RDA was required. That RDA was filed the following week. The proposed work was located within the 200-foot riverfront area of a stream, the Ipswich River, located behind the property and to the southwest. The existing house footprint is approximately 180 feet from the stream, but the Commission is making no finding as to the exact boundaries of the resource areas on site. And then the conditions are as follows. As before, this decision is only for work outlined in the description. Removal of any other trees beyond those permitted by this decision will require additional approval from the Commission or administrators. No additional land disturbance or stump/woody debris removal shall be permitted without additional approval from the Commission or administrator. To allow as much natural revegetation as possible, a fence or other approved demarcation shall be installed between the 2 oaks on either side of the lot, as we discussed yesterday when we were on site. And that's approximately 80 to 100 feet from the stream. And other than the new trees and shrubs, the area beyond this demarcation shall be left otherwise natural. As partial restoration of the tree cutting that occurred in the riverfront, 2 native trees and 4 native shrubs shall be planted behind this fence or demarcation to enhance wildlife habitat, and the specific species of native trees and shrubs shall be approved by Conservation Administrator. Saplings shall be no smaller than 4 feet high. The topsoil that was brought on site shall be spread only between the fence or demarcation and the street, and not behind that demarcation line. And the rest are standard conditions about no using pesticides or herbicides within 100 feet of a stream, and how designated representatives may enter the site to just check on proceedings, and a non-compliance shall be deemed a violation of the Wetlands Protection Act.
So to the Commission, I'd like to ask, we have on here a fence or other demarcation. Do we have a preference for one or the other? If it's for the other demarcation other than a fence, should we specify something specific for that?
So I think if it's not a fence, then I think in the past we've had a continuous line of shrubs or like boulders that are close enough together that, you can't fit a wheelbarrow through, that kind of thing. That's usually at least what I think we've done in the past.
Is that or a simple post and rail?
Yeah, post and rail fence is an adequate fence, just to make it clear that it's, a stoppage from traffic.
All right, so does the applicant have a comment on this?
I actually have a question. If we're standing in the backyard and we look to the left of the property where the neighbor's existing white fence is, there was 2 huge stumps One has been rotten for multiple years. I can't give you that time. And one closer to the street, right near the neighbor's driveway, that's the only oak tree in the backyard that the rest all came down on the other side of the property. I cannot remove those two stumps. That probably from the oak trees, we're talking about putting this line of trees, one's probably 20 feet in front of that closer to the street, and then the oak tree that we took down is probably another 20 feet from that, closer to the street. Now, those are the only two stumps that are left in the backyard. So you're telling me those have to stay there and just rot?
No, I don't think that's what was said. John or Eileen, would you like to comment on that?
I think that is what we intended. John, do you have anything to chime in?
I didn't really understand the location of the two stumps. Can you say that again?
I think they're in the way back left, close
The
to,
My neighbor has that white fence there.
But are they beyond the two oak trees where,
No, they're closer to the home, John.
oh,
Much
so,
closer.
no, anything between the oak trees and the house are fine to remove.
So I
Yeah.
could pull those two stumps.
Yeah,
I was stopped from doing that. They said I couldn't even pull those.
well,
That's-
everything was
till you
stopped
have
at the
a
time.
permit. Right. That's not permanently. It's just until you went through this process.
Okay, and we have no intention, you can see the line of stone. From the line of stone to the silk barrier, the silk sock is probably another 10, 12 feet. Maybe a little more. From the stone, we have no intentions of doing anything back. I was kind of hoping to just feather loom towards the stone and then spray with hydro seed. Now, if you want between the silk sack and the stone, I will plant these trees that you're asking for. I have no objections to doing that. My intentions wasn't to go in there and do that. My intention was to kind of match how the neighbor had already done their backyard.
Yeah, I think what I heard from all this discussion, sir, is that the commission ideally would like something like either a post and rail or those stones on the 100-foot line, and going past those stones, they would like 2 trees and 4 shrubs planted. So if the stones happen to be on the 100-foot line already, I think you're all set. If not, they would be moved to the 100-foot line and you could call it a day there. And that's the demarcation the commission is asking for.
Okay,
Would anyone on the commission like, wait a minute, would anybody in the commission like to comment? Does that sound right?
This is Bill. Yeah, that sounds right. I'm trying to picture in my head that line of stones is currently in front of those 2 trees.
no, it's
closer to
behind
the
them.
It's just behind them. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's somewhat
right.
in that,
it's
but
not.
I think
Like
part of it on the
10,
right side of
at
the
least 10
property.
feet.
I have no objections of putting a 2-post fence from tree to tree, if that's what you want. I have no.
That's what they're proposing.
doing
Yeah, I
that.
think that's good.
The other side of the
Suggestion.
fence, you're asking me to toss in these 6 bushes or trees and some bushes. I have no objection at doing any of that.
All right, I think we are all set, sir. I think we have a path forward. I think, from what I heard, we're in common agreement. That being the case, in order to just move this along for everyone, why don't we have Eileen review the decision? Or you did already. So do we need any changes to the decision?
I don't think I heard any. I didn't make any notes.
I didn't hear any changes. So unless the commission wants to make any changes to the proposed negative conditional determination, could I have a motion to approve the negative conditional determination for the project at 31 Wheatland Street, as it was discussed, and under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 in the State Wetlands Protection Act?
So moved, Gail.
Second, Ed.
All right, so Dawn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Indra,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes,
Ed,
Yes,
The chair votes yes by a vote of 600. The project at 31 Wheatland Street is approved under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 of the State Wetlands Protection Act. So, sir, if you have questions, further questions regarding, or there probably will be some discussion on the type of plants that are native plants and the type of trees that are native trees and so forth, I would, before you purchase anything, I suggest you just consult with the office and verify that the staff is satisfied that the demarcation is along the 100-foot of the riverfront boundary.
How soon would you like the fence put in?
John or Eileen?
So the fence should be put in prior to occupancy, before you look for an occupancy permit. And just to be clear, I mean, we're not measuring exactly the 100 feet. We agreed to between the two oak trees, I think was the sort of compromise in the field. So
Okay.
which is somewhere probably between 80 and 100.
And how soon can I plant those trees that you're asking on the other side?
You can plant them this fall if you wish. That would be great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And is there a certain period of time, ma'am, that we have to wait before we can go forward with anything else in that backyard? Is there like a time frame I have to wait after this meeting?
Yes, the decision will actually be issued next Tuesday. Technically, there is a 10-day appeal period. If you wish to do something within that time, that would be at your risk. But you will get the decision on Tuesday.
Thank
You can
you.
come and pick it up, or it'll be in the mail.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think, sir, I think we're all set. Good luck with your project.
Okay, thanks again.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. Okay. Next on the agenda is item 5D. It's notices given. The Town of Burlington Conservation Commission will hold a Webex virtual public meeting. And we're going to entertain a request for determination of applicability filed by Mudhar Tawari. The commission will be taking information related to the proposed clearing and grading activity within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetative wetlands. The property is located at 19 Geddick Road in Burlington. After that, we will thereafter issue a determination. The application is being heard under the State Wetlands Protection Act and Burlington Bylaw Article 14. And this application is available by request to conservation@burlington.org. Okay, so is there someone here for this particular property, 19 Geddick?
Yes, thank you for giving me a chance. Yeah, so we are here. If you have any question, you can ask me. We are just having a plan to put fencing and just to make little like loop means it was odd, like even height. So just not to install any permanent structure on that one. And my neighbor, they have a very 4 feet land. So all water is coming towards my property. So that's what, otherwise if we don't have any plan, we will plant some trees also. Yeah.
All right, good. Thank you for those comments. All right, so Eileen or John for 19 Geddick, do you have some comments for us?
Sure, I'll take this one. So much like the previous application, there was work done before the filing. Unlike the past one, in this case, the owners we had multiple emails and whatnot with the owners prior to the actual work going on, and we had told them that they needed to file, and so they did go ahead and do the work without filing, despite that correspondence we had. So the resource area in this case is there is some bordering vegetated wetland along the edge of the property. There's also a regulatory stream at the back. So this one is slightly different than the one you just dealt with in that it's not riverfront under the Wetlands Protection Act. This is a stream that's almost certainly intermittent and wouldn't be protected with a state 200-foot riverfront area, but it does have the 200-foot riverfront area under the local bylaw. And the work was done, I'd say, within probably 20 feet of the bank of the stream. The work that was done was scraping off of scrubby vegetation. They brought in some fill. The tree cutting was, there wasn't a lot of tree cutting. I think we might have counted a couple stumps out there. It was mostly brushy vegetation that was cleared out. And
Yeah,
I think that's it. That's about
Okay,
it.
all right, thank you. All right, so John, to be clear, was there any wetlands, or was it only buffer zone that was disturbed?
So it appears it was just buffer zone. On our maps, it looked like the area had more extensive wetlands than it appeared to be actually when we went out in the field. So I
Alright.
think it was just buffer zone and riverfront area.
All right, so to the commission, we have a buffer zone disturbance, so it might be useful to know that for your comments. So Don? Any comments?
No, I don't have any comments.
Gail?
So John, just to be clear that this is a riverfront disturbance under our bylaw?
Correct.
Yes, okay, thank you. And so I know that Eileen, you had been out there before. Do we have any sense of how much fill was brought in, if the grade has changed, anything like that?
It doesn't look like it was a significant grade change. I'm just showing some photographs here. I don't know if you can see them. This is the fill that we saw before it. I mean, the grass came in really well for them, I have to say. So when we saw it the other day, it just looked like it was never disturbed. So it's not a lot of depth. It was a couple of inches of loam, but they did take out a few trees, and they did a pretty, just a clear up. You can see that there's wood chips here, branches taken off. There are stumps visible in those pictures, and this was it last year. A couple of those trees are gone. This leaning tree is gone. It's not huge, but they had been told that they had to file.
Yes, and I think that is upsetting that, that this is basically a violation in terms of, because they did get warning that they needed to file. Now, I looked at the information that was in the packet, and it also said that it's plans for a patio, a deck, and walkways. Is that correct?
No,
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
yeah, so no, we don't have any plan for the deck. We already have deck. Just we wanted to put some flowers or something. That's it. Nothing. Small plants we will be putting.
So you're not doing the walkways and the
No.
patio?
Not
No?
yet. We are not doing any construction over there. We just want to put some like a fence because it's for my kids' safety, and those tree I shown last time to John when he came over there. The tree is literally like that, right? And my neighbors, they complained to tree that fell down. Means like the last 2 years to now, at least 4 to 5 trees fell down.
So, I think that, we'll have to come up with a plan to kind of, restore some of that area and to, improve that area. And that they'll also have to work with them to, of course, to get the native plants. And I also saw in the plan, there was a description of using fertilizer with the plants. So they'll also need some instruction about what they can and cannot do about that. So that's all, and also about the fence, where exactly is this fence planned to be? It shouldn't be in the 20-foot, that's for sure, and it shouldn't be in the riverfront either, but we can, I guess, talk about that, but it definitely shouldn't be in the 20-foot.
Yeah, means like we are thinking that means we saw that earlier we had the means not we earlier the house owner, they had the, you can see some structure of fence over there. So we just want to follow those, like we want to rebuild that fence, and we don't want to go beyond that line, whatever you are saying to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
All right, Indra.
Yes, this is Indra. I agree with the Gail's comment that the area needs to be restored and improved.
So the question, Indra, is restoring, how much restoration distance of restoration is sufficient to qualify as an improvement. Anybody have a comment on that? Indra, you kind of brought that up.
Well, the first thing is they were notified and they violated that notification. Is that correct, John?
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
So that kind of violation, we don't accept those kind of violation. And how much area do you think, John, that they have worked on?
Well, my suggestion would be to have the fence be no closer than 40 feet from the bank of the stream. Once again, this is not a state regulated riverfront area, so you've got a lot more flexibility than you would under if it were under the the Wetlands Protection Act, where you should really protect the inner 100 feet. The yard clearly did go within the 100-foot inner riparian before, so.
So did they change the grading?
So to this point, no, I think they just brought in topsoil, although you have mentioned many times that the neighbor's yard is much higher and the water is flowing down onto your yard. So I'm not clear if your ultimate goal is to raise your yard so that your neighbors.
No, we don't want. We just want to equal it, and we just want to clear because there was too much junk, means like the other
Okay.
before neighbor they put too much junk over there, so we just clean those and we put the clear soil like a loam. Only those are my concerns because
Okay. Yeah, so there's no change in grade then.
actually I just want to make a means like area for a play for my kids. Otherwise I don't have any other intention to do for violation or other things. I don't have any kind of intention for that one. Sorry for that.
Okay. All right. So Indra, if you're done, I'll go to Bill.
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you. Thank you.
This is for the applicants. You mentioned removing junk that was there. Are you talking about plants that look bad or actual trash and stuff like that?
We removed too much trash from there because it was there like a glass water bottles and so much stuff was there. Means early owners they throw so much dirt, means like a junk.
Okay.
So we removed those one, and the falling tree, as Ellen see that so many, means like one tree was already fallen down.
Yep.
We removed those one, and the other whatever in the thunderstorm that fell down, we removed those one.
Okay, so in that sense, you've already performed some improvement to the riverfront area by cleaning out the trash and things of that nature. So that's a positive. I agree that the fence should be, I like the suggestion of 40 feet here. We obviously can't do 100 feet because it's not state regulated and we don't have to be as strict, and that would consume the entire yard. So, but 40 foot would still give you a decent sized yard that you could protect and let your children have. It does not look like substantial grading was done, so it's okay, I think, where the soil level is at this time. And then any other planting that you do, we certainly encourage you to do native plants so that it helps to enhance the natural nature of the area.
Even, sorry for disturb. Even we are thinking like we want to put the shrub instead of for putting the fence. We want to make a fence with the shrub.
Some trees
Yes.
and shrubs
We want to plant those one over there.
All right. Let's go to Ed. Ed, anything further?
Nothing to add.
Eileen, in the draft decision, do you give specifics on any plantings, or are we going to have them simply consult with you folks at the office regarding what to do within the 40 feet, shrubs or whatever?
I think we just specified native, and that after that they're welcome to confer with us for species.
That's fine with me. I just wanted to make it clear which way we were going on this, whether we're being more specific. All right, so I don't have anything further. I should ask, I haven't been doing this. Is there anyone in the audience for this? Which I don't believe there is. All right, so all right, so Eileen, could you review the draft decision for these folks?
John, do you want me to, since
No, I can do it. That's fine.
Okay, John, please
Um,
do.
Sure. So the project description is the applicant proposed to cut trees, remove shrubs, some down trees and add loam and a fence in the buffer zone to BVW and the inner riverfront of a regulatory stream. So the filing history, the jurisdictional areas, I just mentioned the jurisdictional areas. And for the purpose of this filing, the commission's making no finding as to the exact boundaries of the resource areas. There is bordering vegetated wetland and obviously riverfront. The proposed decision is a negative determination with the following conditions. Condition 1 is that this is only for the work described in the actual application in the project description. 2 is a prohibition on removing any other trees than what's permitted under this decision. Condition 3 is a requirement to plant 2 native trees and 3 native shrubs within 20 feet of the stream, so beyond the fence. The exact location and species shall be determined in consultation with the staff. Condition 4 is that a fence or other approved demarcation, but clearly the applicants want a fence for the safety of their children and whatnot, so shall be installed no less than 40 feet from the stream, and the area beyond the fence shall be left to otherwise natural. Condition 4, no additional filling or grading beyond what's already occurred. No, and standard conditions about the use of chemicals and fertilizers. Condition 7 is a standard condition about dumping, including dumping of yard waste. Condition 8 is a standard condition about the commission's right to access the site to do inspections, and condition 9 is regarding non-compliance.
All right, thank you. Is there any further comment from the commission on the conditions? All right, could I have a motion to approve a negative conditional determination under Burlington bylaw, Article 14, and the State Wetlands Protection Act?
So moved, Ed.
Second?
Second, Gail.
All right, Dawn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes, so that's a vote of 6-0-0 in favor of the project at 19 Geddick Road. Okay, folks, you're all set. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good night.
Good night.
Mhm.
All right, so next on the agenda is a request for minor engineering change at 60 Blanchard Road. Someone here for that one?
Hi, good evening.
Hi there.
Marissa Valentino with BSC. How are you?
Good, how are you tonight?
I'm good, thanks. Sorry, I was just having some audio issues.
Oh, okay, well, you're here now, so there's no issue.
Okay.
Would you like to say something?
Sure. So 60 Blanchard Road, we're here for minor engineering changes. There were 4 changes from the last previous plan that you saw. One, actually, I'm gonna share my plan. I think that might help. So the first one was the configuration around the patio area and the generator. The second one was adding a drain for the patio and connecting into the existing storm system. The third revision is some grading at the loading area. Essentially, these loading docks were 40-inch docks, and they want them to be standard 48-inch docks. And the third change is regarding the configuration of the drainage structures halfway down the site, halfway down the hill. Originally, we had thought that the culvert going across the road connected into the second catch basin. There were 2 catch basins here. I'll zoom in. 2 catch basins here and 2 outlets. It actually connects into the first one, does a 90-degree, and then does a 90-degree out. So we're still maintaining these 2 outlets and just sort of, instead of replacing one of the catch basins with the storm scepter, shifting it up the hill and shifting the double catch basin up the hill.
Okay. Okay, is that it for changes?
Yes.
Okay, Eileen or John, do you have comments? It doesn't sound like a major impact for the things that the commission worries about.
No, and actually, so they've consulted with us on all of these before they actually made these changes, and we you know, sort of administratively approved them, but told them once they were all, you know, done, that they would need to just come to the commission for its blessing. But we've already reviewed and approved these.
All right. So therefore, are there any comments from the commission on this, on the proposed minor engineering change for 60 Blanchard Road?
No, this is it. I had walked that this afternoon, in fact, and it looked pretty nice.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, therefore, could I have a motion to approve a minor engineering change for the project at 60 Blanchard Road, DEP file number 122-652?
So moved, Gail?
Second, Phil.
Don, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. The minor engineering change for 60 Blanchard Road is approved by a vote of 6-0-0. You're all set, Marissa.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, you too. Thanks for coming. Bye. Okay. All right, so we're on item number 7. Notice is given that we'll hold a virtual public hearing for the commission. And the purpose of the public hearing is to take information related to a notice of intent filed by Deborah Ann Goldberg for Asset Redevelopment Corporation for the demolition of a single-family house and the construction of a new single-family house located at 24 Hart Street. The proposed work would be within a 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetative wetlands. It's being heard under the State Wetlands Protection Act and Burlington Bylaw Article 14. The commission will review information relative to the application and thereafter may issue an order of conditions and a Burlington Wetlands permit for the proposed project. The application's online. It's go to the conservation website and you should be able to pull out the application as it's posted there. All right, so is there someone here for this project at 24 Hart Street?
Yes, Greg Saab from ESS.
All right, nice to see you, sir. So would you like to start it off and make any comments?
Yes. So what we're proposing here is to remove the existing house at 24 Hart Street and replace it with a new house. We're going to use a roof drain system for the infiltration off of the house. And we're going to put a stone trench along the driveway for the runoff off the driveway. We're proposing to remove 4 trees within the 100-foot buffer zone and replace them with 4 trees. And we're going to put a post and rail fence up at the 20-foot no disturb zone and use erosion control around the property. The house is 80, I believe it's 88 feet from the wetlands. And the deck's a little closer.
All right. Okay, so John or Eileen, would you like to give us some preliminary comments on this one?
Sure, I can handle this one. So the commission did a site walk here yesterday, and while we were there, we actually got a chance to look at the wetland delineation, and it seems fine. So I have some questions about the actual plan, though. So there's appears to be a depiction of a tree line on the right-hand side of the lot, going from about where test pit 1 is all the way parallel to the lot line towards the erosion control line.
Yes.
So, I mean, that appears to be a tree line. So none of those trees in there are going to be cut?
I was not planning that, but I definitely want to walk the site with you and the contractor
Okay,
to go through them. I
Yeah, right.
talked to him earlier today, and he said the neighbor had a tree that they wanted cut that he had talked to him about when he was on site. So I definitely would like to walk it with you and flag every tree. Just make sure
Oh.
we get them all in,
okay,
before they go in there. Just make it clear to him exactly what's going to be cut. Because as I seen it, the 4 trees on the other side of the lot were the closest ones to the house, and that one tree by the test pit, which is out of the buffer zone, and the others seem plenty far enough away, and they're downslope. But again, we should walk in and flag the trees. Set a date to do that prior to the next meeting.
okay. And then you're proposing 4 trees to be planted, but on your key they're all maple trees. So there's two different symbols, and they
yes,
both say
okay,
maple
yeah.
tree.
Yep. So one's supposed to be a pine tree.
Okay.
I'll change that.
Okay. And then my only other comment is, so you're proposing the post and rail along the erosion control, so you're not going to put it straight across the back? You're going to actually have it follow that 20-foot?
With this contractor and what he's paying for these houses and lots, he wants as much area as possible.
Okay.
So that's why I put it on that line.
Right. So, then I just have one last question. So, it appears to be like there's about a 6-foot drop from the back of the house to the erosion control line.
Yep.
Goes from like 152 to 146, but you're not proposing any grading back there, correct?
No.
Well, there is a 150 contour, but nothing beyond that, right?
Yeah, there's 150, and there's a fenced-in area in there too, that exists. It's a fairly flat yard, and he wanted to do a walkout basement.
Okay.
So 152 cellar floor, and it slopes, but it's not like a real steep slope until you get to about the 40-foot zone. But we'll discuss that on site too. I don't want any surprises on this one.
Okay. Okay, thanks. That's it, Larry.
All right, John, do you have any concerns for the commission or issues to bring up at all?
No.
With the question?
Nothing else.
All right, so let's go in reverse order. Ed, you have any comments on this one? Ed, you still there? Okay. I don't hear Ed. So let's go to Bill. Bill, you have anything?
Yes, I do. As it's planned, I think it's looking like it meets our requirements quite cleanly. The area that I would like to address is somewhat outside of our actual jurisdiction, but I think it's very within the desires of what conservation is all about. This new house is significantly larger than the existing house. Correct?
Yes.
So this is going to be a very high-end, state-of-the-art house. And it's probably going to be, based on what I've seen in the neighborhood, and I live in this neighborhood, and the sales recently, it's probably going to be a house that sells for well over $1 million. I'm going to ask you some questions. I'd like you to answer them. Are you planning to have high efficiency insulation and windows?
They will meet the energy code.
Okay.
That I know. There's the state
Okay.
energy code that they have to meet.
Are you planning to have the high-end modern kitchen appliances to justify, to go with the size of the house that you're making?
I'm not building this house, so this will
Okay.
be something I'll have to run by the contractor.
All right. Well, I'm getting to a point here. And my point is this. Do you know how you're planning to heat and cool this house?
No, I'm site plan, show it, not the architect. We can definitely have that discussion with the builder. But
Because what I'm-
generally, you know, he has to meet the energy code of the state.
Right, but those things may very well be changing in the near future. There's a couple of things that are moving in the around the country and even locally. Massachusetts currently has a goal stated to, by 2030, get 1 million buildings off of fossil fuels. There's these existing buildings that are using fossil fuels to heat. They want to get 1 million of them off of fossil fuels. California regulators are now requiring solar power and battery storage in new commercial buildings and high-rise multifamily dwellings. So I think it's only a matter of time before similar regulations come into place everywhere because of the whole climate crisis that's going on. So I think that a house of this magnitude, and it's going to be a beautiful, big, expensive house, should clearly have state-of-the-art, high-efficiency electric heat pump heating system. So it does not have any gas or oil, as a fossil fuel. I mean, if you're talking about having a heating system, and I'm sure you're also going to have a central air conditioning system with a compressor outside, all of that can be replaced with one state-of-the-art electric heat pump system. And then you're not having any fossil fuel or carbon footprint on site. That and a significant amount of planting and trees and things like that helps to make your house, the new house, to be net zero. So I don't have the power to enforce that statement in any means, and neither does the commission. But I just want to make it clear that I think we need to start moving in that direction. And on each new construction, I really want to encourage that type of energy conscientious development. And I think in houses that are being built now in Burlington that cost $1.5 million, there's no reason this can't be part of the package. I think it can clearly be a marketing advantage and a key selling point for new homes, especially in Burlington, where many of the purchasers of high-end houses are tech-savvy buyers and would appreciate such a thing. So I just wanted to make that pitch, and I appreciate you listening to it, and I hope you push that forward to your contractor.
I will bring it up with him tomorrow. See what he
Okay.
has to say. And,
Very good. All right, so could I go with, next we'll go to Indra, then go back to Ed, because I called on you when you stepped out for a second, Ed. So
Yes,
let's go to Indra.
so actually Bill explained very nice. And I agree with Bill that if you can do that, that would be good. That, even though that is beyond our jurisdiction, but that's a request if you could do that.
Okay. All right, and Ed, do you have anything on this one? This one is 24 Hart Street.
No, nothing to add. You've already got the plans to go out there and look at the tree line, so.
All right, Gail, anything on this one?
No, nothing further. Thank you.
All right, Don, anything on this?
Nothing further.
Okay. I guess I don't have anything further on this one either. So is there anyone in the audience for this? This is a public hearing for a proposed new house on 24 Hart Street. It does not appear there is any other participation. Okay. So I guess we're at a point where we'll say that all I heard was Bill's eloquent comments about perhaps using some energy conservation and efficient system like heat pump system on such a house would be appropriate if possible. And perhaps this individual will get back to us after he discusses it with the architect on that.
And he's got John going out to walk to the tree line.
Yeah. Is there any other, anything else that we asked for? Anyone hear anything further? I did not hear too much on this one. Nope. All right, so the next meeting is September 23, if that's correct. I believe.
September 9.
Oh, September 9th.
9th.
Oh, September 9th. The next meeting, September 9th. So I assume you'll continue, sir, till September 9th.
Yes, I'd like to continue to September 9th.
John, do we need a motion to continue? for
You
that?
need a motion and a roll call.
All right, so could I have a motion to continue the project hearing for 24 Hart Street to September 9th? Is there a motion?
So moved, Indra.
Second.
Second, Gail.
All right, Dawn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill? Bill? Can't hear you, Bill.
There am I. Yes.
All right, got you now. Okay. Ed?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Okay, so the hearing for 24 Hart Street is continued to September 9th by a vote of 6-0-0. All right, sir, I think you're all set for tonight.
All right, thank you.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yep, thank you. Okay. Okay. All right, so the next item on the agenda is item number 8. It's a continued public hearing for 2 Terrace Hall Ave, Asset Redevelopment Corporation to demolish a dwelling and construct a new house. DEP file number 122-659. Someone here for that one?
Yes, it's me again.
Okay, hello, me
Greg
again.
Saab from ESS.
All right, so we have a busy night for you, sir.
Yes.
All right, so before we get going, do you want to say anything further on this one?
Yes, we walked the site after the last meeting and went over the items that were brought up, and we've added a swale to the right-hand side of the property and changed the name to the correct abutter's name on that side also. And we've checked off the trees that are gonna be cut and also added the trees to be planted in the 20-foot zone. And slightly adjusted the post and rail fence and put the spot grades along the driveway as was requested also.
Right, right.
And I believe that was it.
All right, so we'll check our list and see if we agree on that. John or Eileen, do you have anything further on this one?
No, I don't. I think that Mr. Saab addressed everything that the commission asked for. I know the neighbors were pretty concerned about, water possibly running off onto their property. So as he said, he's clearly marked a swale that's going to go between his property and theirs, so they shouldn't get any water on. And I thought that was nicely done. He's added all the spot checks. I think that the trees are much clearer now. Before, it wasn't very clear which ones are going and which ones are staying, and I think it's quite clear now. These big X's are the ones that are going, and they're mostly in the front except for around the area of the shed, and all the smaller X's are remaining.
Okay.
There was one other issue. I had asked to review the wetland delineation. I was not sure
right.
that the delineation was accurate, and I did look at it and it seemed fine.
Sorry, I forgot that.
Okay. All right, one question I have here about the swale. Are we doing a swale on both sides of the property or one side?
Just on the one side, the
Okay.
abutting property on the other side has a house under construction, and the way they're pitching and we're pitching, it's gonna create a natural swale in there.
Got it, okay, understood. All right, so let's see if there's any comments. Ed, you have anything more on this one?
No, nothing to add.
Bill, anything further on this one?
Just one curiosity question. Your trees to be planted have two different color circles, a white circle and a black circle, but they both say proposed maple. Is there a difference or?
No, the second one's a pine. I must have carried the same note over to both plans.
Okay, so some of those are proposed pines?
Yes, so there's 3 pines. They're the darker colored ones. And then the other 2 are maples, and that matches what's coming out.
Great,
I'll,
thank you.
change that on the legend.
That's all I had.
All right, Indra,
No, nothing further.
Gail, anything further?
No, just that when we're done with the commission, Larry, I think the abutters are on the meeting, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gail. Dawn?
Nothing further.
Okay, that hit all the bullets I had on the list. I didn't have anything more noted to take care of. Okay, so let's go to anyone in the audience that would please introduce yourself as you begin to speak and where you live, and then make your comments, please.
Yeah, Nelson Eby, we're the abutters on the right side of this property. I'm quite happy generally with what the person is proposing. I just want to make sure about the X's because the difference in size makes it a bit challenging. So as I look at this, you're talking about taking out 1, 2, 3, 4. There should be a 5th one, and those down there, which are not a problem. 2 of these that you're proposing to take out are already dead, so that's no loss. And the one is a leaner. But I was wondering about the 2 big evergreens because they, previous plan we were talking about issues involving greenhouse warming, and those big trees really are very effective for reducing local heating. So I was just wondering if there's any possibility you could leave the 2 big ones, the one that's up by the street and the one that's over here on the side, in just to provide some shade for the property.
They're relatively close to the house. So there's one up by the driveway. It's going to be in the new driveway area, and the other one on the side of the driveway is less than 20 feet to the house. And when it falls, it's gonna fall on the house. And when you start doing construction and the earthwork, you're gonna undermine the roots. So they're definitely gonna come in. And there was one that we had noticed when we were doing a site walk. There is a pine that's already fallen that's actually in the wetlands that when they come in with the crane, they're gonna remove that one. But yeah, we're gonna do the replanting, and he always plants trees in the front yard too. I know it's out of the buffer zone, but when he does these projects, he does replant trees.
Okay. Any other comments, please? Anyone in the audience have comments?
So I just want to make a comment. I just heard him say that they were going to remove a down pine that's in the wetland. Would we rather leave that there? We don't actually want anybody going in there with equipment into the wetland.
So I actually suggested that it's not down, it's like hung up. It looks dangerous,
But they'll be able to do that without, bringing in heavy equipment into the
with a-
resource
yeah,
area?
with a crane, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's a leaner. So yeah.
All right, any other comments from anyone online? All right, so we have some draft decision documents to review. Eileen or John, will you do the honors, please?
I think that's me. Let me just get it ready. I'm going to start with the bylaw so that we can go over the findings first. So a notice of intent was filed for demolition of an existing single-family residence and construction of a new home, deck, porch, driveway, and associated grading utilities, and planting of 5 trees and 4 shrubs. This is just highlighted because I was proposing we add in a few extra shrubs as well to be discussed. This is the filing history. This references the site plan, which was revised after the last meeting, and that's the one we just looked at now. The proposed work was within the 100-foot buffer to bordering vegetated wetlands. The closest point of the proposed new dwelling the rear deck, was approximately 45 feet from the BVW, and the closest part of the house is 35.5 feet. The existing house was 42 feet from the BVW, and the existing shed to be removed was 30 feet from the BVW. A lot of these things are standards. It describes how the wetland resources provide various functions. Under stormwater management, this project is exempt from the mass regulations, but Mr. Saab is going to infiltrate the new rooftop area into an underground recharge system. The driveway will be pitched to a stone infiltration trench, and a swale will be constructed inside the northern property line to prevent runoff to the neighbouring properties. And additionally, erosion and control measures will be implemented. The proposed impervious area will be slightly smaller than the existing. And the rest of these are standards. It describes how the erosion controls will be hay bales, and the use of fertilizers, pesticides, and herbicides shall not be allowed within 100 feet of wetland resource areas. Let me stop sharing and move over and share again. Now I'm going to go to the order of the order. Again, the same site plan is referenced. Most of the first conditions are a standard, and Mr. Saab is pretty familiar with them, so I'll just zip through a few of them. This order permits work within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands, and no work within any wetland resource area has been permitted by this decision. This is number 24. A lot of these, as I said, are standard. The Commission shall receive notice at least 2 days prior to commencement of activity on site, at which time Mr. Saab will invite us out. We'll note that the site has been, work has been staked out, and the erosion controls are in place, and the DEP sign is up, and that the order of conditions has been filed. We are proposing that the sediment barrier shall be installed along the line shown on the reference plan, but along the back, sediment barriers should be hay bales because it's really quite close to the wetland at that point. Wattles may be used on the right and left sides and along the frontage on Terrace Hall Ave. Materials should not be stockpiled on site within 40 feet of the wetlands. No dewatering unless we have a dewatering plan. Sweep the roadway every day. We have the right to require additional erosion control. No additional grading beyond that which is shown on the plan. Number 39 also references the swale. This shall be constructed inside the northern property line to prevent runoff to the neighbouring property, that's the EBs. Any debris that falls into the wetlands shall be removed by hand, and this will remain in perpetuity. These are all standard ones about what's allowed to be on site during the project. Onto stormwater management, the rooftop runoff shall be infiltrated on site as shown on the approved plan, which is with the infiltrator and the drains. An infiltration trench shall also be installed along the driveway, and this shall be maintained and not removed while the driveway is present, and this shall remain in perpetuity. A post and rail fence shall be installed approximately 20 feet from the BVW across the lot as shown on the referenced plan. In some areas, it might be closer than 20 feet just because they're trying to make a reasonable line. The new fence shall not have gates, and this demarcation shall be maintained in perpetuity and noted on the certificate of compliance. 5 native trees, and as I said, I had just proposed throwing in 4 additional native shrubs because why not? The tree shall be monitored for 2 full growing seasons, and those that fail to survive shall be replaced. The area behind the fence shall be left as naturally vegetated other than those trees, and this condition will be noted as existing in perpetuity. This is the condition about that Gail was concerned about. No machinery shall be operated beyond the erosion controls, so that crane can't go past the existing lawn. And this is the requirement for what's required for certificate of occupancy and certificate of compliance.
Okay, does anyone on the commission have any further comments? All right, how about Mr. Saab, do you have anything at this time, which you can always call the office?
What kind of shrub? When I revise the plan, I'd like to just add it.
They would just be native shrubs. They could be something like blueberries or something like that. That might be nice and provide some fruit as well.
All right.
You can discuss that with us though.
Okay. All right.
Okay, anything else, sir? Or are you all set?
No, I'm all set.
All right, you've seen this stuff before, I gather.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So if there's nothing further from the commission, could I have a motion to close the hearing for 2 Terrace Hall Ave?
So moved it.
So move.
Second,
Second, Indra.
Dawn, how do you vote on closing the hearing?
Yes.
Gail,
Yes,
Indra,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes,
Ed?
Yes.
The chair votes yes by a vote of 600. The hearing for 2 Terrace Hall Ave is closed. Could I have a motion to approve the findings under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 for the project at 2 Terrace Hall Ave?
so moved, Bill.
Second,
Second, Don.
Don, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail,
yes,
Indra,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes,
Ed?
Yes.
The chair votes yes. The findings for 2 Terrace Hall Ave are approved by a vote of 600. Could I have a motion to approve the order of conditions for the property project at 2 Terrace Hall Ave under the State Wetlands Protection Act and Burlington Bylaw Article 14?
So moved, Indra.
Second,
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 Bill.
Gail,
all right, Don, how are you voting on this?
Yes.
Gail,
yes,
Indra,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes,
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, so the order of conditions for 2 Terrace Hall Ave is approved by a vote of 600. All right, now, some surety. What is recommended for this project?
3,500.
All right, could I have a motion to require the posting of surety under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 in the amount of $3,500?
So moved, Bill.
Second,
Second, Indra.
anybody have discussion? Anybody here? All right. So Dawn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail,
yes,
Indra,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes,
Ed?
Yes.
The chair votes yes. The requirement to post $3,500 surety under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 for the project of 2 Terrace Hall Ave is approved by a vote of 600. All right, sir, good luck on this one.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks for your time. Okay, so items 9, 10, and 11 as were continued by vote on the Redmond Street projects to September 9th. Now we're on 12A, administrative matters, planning board comments, anything?
Nothing.
All right, that was pretty definitive. Subcommittee and staff reports and updates. Anybody aware of anything on that? Upcoming meetings, September 9th and September 23rd. Anyone know they can't be here now? Other business. Do we have other business? Is there anything else other than we have a town meeting coming up in September?
We do have a housekeeping item on that town meeting, just the stormwater bylaw just had like one numbering mistake in it that needs to be rectified by a vote of town meeting.
Do you expect it to be controversial, John?
No, not at all.
Boy, I hope not.
I mean, you never know on these things. Sometimes they talk a lot on smallest items, but
Right.
all right, just thought I'd ask. Okay, is there anything else for other business?
nope.
All right, could I have a motion to adjourn this meeting of the Burlington Conservation Commission?
So moved, Bill.
Second? All right, Don, how do you vote on adjournment?
Yes.
Gail, are you in favor?
yes.
Indra, are you in favor?
Definitely, yes.
Bill, are you in favor?
Yes.
Ed, are you in favor?
Yes.
And the chair is also in favor. By unanimous vote of 600, the meeting of the Burlington Conservation Commission is adjourned.